So, Anne-Marie,
Yes.
welcome to the Kauneutta and Kapinaa conversation. We are really happy to have you here because in Finland, English is not the mother tongue, although we speak quite fluent English as a nation. Since we are so few of us, there's so few of us, we need to have some way of communicating with other nations. But could you tell us where do you come from and what are you doing at the moment?
Oh, okay. So I come from England. I come from the south of England, so just south of London. So my accent is closer to like the BBC English, that sort of sound. And my company is called I Need to Practice My English.com, which is the website as well. And what I do is I help musicians, particularly singers and songwriters, with their English. So I help with the pronunciation particularly, and then when you sing in English, just help check that accent is feels comfortable to a native English speaker, and also lyrics as well, just checking that the lyrics are grammatically and musically correct.
Perfect. I can literally tell you that there's a big opportunity for you in Finland. We have this thing called Rally English and Finglish, which is not very understandable for a native English speaker. Why do you think it's important to really get the pronunciation and English correct as an artist?
As an artist, I think it's important, especially if you're singing a cover song, for example. People are used to hearing it sounding a certain way, and if it sounds a little bit different, it takes your mind away from the song. So I quite often will hear somebody singing a song in English, and there's a point where I think, are they still singing in English or are they singing in their mother tongue? And I start thinking, what tongue is that? What sound is that? My brain, my sort of intellect, sort of thinking brain kicks in, and I'm not listening to the music anymore. So it's a distraction. Whereas if you have it just right, people can just enjoy the music.
Yeah, that's a pretty valid point. Where should an artist start if he or she wants to get better at pronouncing English and writing better lyrics?
Okay. Well, with the pronunciation, what I would suggest is to have an accent assessment. So one way would be just to have a native English pronunciation expert to listen to your accent and to tell you exactly what sounds don't sound quite accurate. And we have degrees of it. Sometimes you just don't understand that sound, or sometimes you kind of understand, and it can be just improved a little bit. So that's the first thing. Check what sounds need to be practiced. There's no point practicing sounds you already know. And also, if you continue to speak without knowing the correct way of saying it, you're practicing and embedding the mistakes. So the first thing I would say is get an accent assessment. And same with the singing. If you're singing a song in English, to get a native speaker to just point out just the sounds, just the little bits that don't sound quite, that just distract them, that they think, oh no, that doesn't sound quite right. But not only that, to find out how to say it right, because you can change it. It can be changed. That's the good news. Our speech articulators, the jaw, the tongue, and the lips, they are muscles and they can be changed. And it takes about 6 weeks to change a muscle, to strengthen a muscle that you haven't used before. And if it's a a sound in a different language, it's a muscle you haven't used. And if you're taught how to do it properly, taught what sounds to practice, how to sound it correctly, then in 6 weeks or certainly by 12 weeks, you will have that new sound.
Okay.
And once you have it then. So any song you sing after that with those sounds, you've already learned it. You know how to sound, so it's not a distraction.
Okay. Yeah, because that's really interesting. I've been singing in English for more than 20 years, and I know that my pronunciation is not correct. There are things that I would like to change in my pronunciation. So we're going to have a conversation after this just to get the assessment. I'm really interested in that because I actually think that I'm pretty good at it as a Finnish person, but there's always room for improvement. You already mentioned that you can help artists with the assessment, but are there other like services that they can have from you?
Okay, so what I have done is I have a free mini course, like a mini pronunciation course that you can do. It's just like 7 little videos about a minute or 2 minutes long. And at the end, you would be saying an English poem. And the reason I chose this little poem is because it's lyrical, because it's beautiful sounding, and also because most of the sounds, the English sounds, there were 44 English sounds, most of them are in that poem. So the first thing I would suggest is to get this free little course, just to see how it is, and if you like working with me, and whether you like it or not, you will still be saying something a little bit, you'll learn something. And then after that, I do like a full course, so it's like an online pronunciation course. So what I would certainly recommend, as I mentioned a bit earlier, was to do the accent assessment first, then you know what sounds to practice, and then do the pronunciation course, because I have a different video for each sound, so you only need to practice the sounds that come up from the assessment. So it makes sense to me to do it that way, so you're not wasting your time, you're using your time effectively. And then the other services I offer are the singing in English. If you sing to me in English, I can say what sounds need to be changed and how to do that. But I think it starts with speaking. If you can speak it, if you can say it, then you can. Learning to sing it is a lot easier. I feel it's the next natural progression from there. And finally, lyrics. That's the other side. So if you write some songs in English, again, I can just check that it works correctly. Because we have stress on different parts of the word, and also the notes, the tone, the music, how it goes up and down. If you have a very long note, if you've got the wrong syllable of that word that's long, it loses the sense of that music. So I can check that and sort of tell you, and we can adjust it so it sounds right, so it's natural.
Yeah, that sounds actually really, really, really interesting. I've been actually asking my friends who are native English speakers about some things about my lyrics and my pronunciation, and through that I've found that really, really helpful already.
Yes.
And if I could get an expert like you to do that with me, I think I could get even more out of it. But it's really good for people who listen to this and watch this. It's really helpful that they can have a free mini course and like through that get to know you a little bit better and see if they could really benefit from going further with you. This is actually, it's really, I could talk for a whole day. I was actually quite nervous to do this because I pronounce English not perfectly. So it's it would be nice to hear your opinion about my pronunciation here as a speaker.
Okay.
What would you start with me? Where would you start with me?
Okay. I think I mean the first thing is I just need to make this clear. When we speak to each other, we're speaking to communicate. So your accent is clear. I can understand what you're saying and everything. So the information comes across easily. I would say if you were to want to improve it, I would say your intonation. So sometimes you're speaking maybe a little flatter, where I would sort of make it a bit more musical, I suppose, up and down a little more. So that's the first thing I would work with, I think.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Because I know that I'm a sort of a calm talker and it a bit monotonic. So maybe I should try to do something about it.
Yes, if you wish. Yes, if you wish. Good. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Is there anything you would like to address at this point, or tell a little bit about your history, perhaps? How did you end up doing this? I need to practice my English.com.
Oh, okay. I think it started because my grandmother was from Poland, and my grandmother really, she brought us up. She was at home. She looked after me and my brother. And she had a very strong Polish accent. She had no English lessons. At the end of the Second World War, she was brought over to Britain. And at that time, there were not that many Polish people in England. So she was a little lady with a big voice and a big personality and a very strong accent. And we just knew that as normal. But when we went out, people would snigger and laugh at her. And she wouldn't notice at first, and then she would get embarrassed. And I didn't really understand why they were laughing at first. Then I could hear there was a difference if that's what they were laughing at. And I mean, I felt for her. And what happened as I went through, and I still do it, if I go into a shop and somebody is speaking with a strong accent, the words are fine, but it's the accent that the shopkeeper doesn't understand. I will, if they want to, I'll come in and I'll say exactly the same words, but with an English accent and get the message through. So to help and intervene is always been, is quite deep in me. And when I found out that it's actually quite simple to change the accent so that you're understood better, that's great. The problem is that we do in England, very unfortunately, and I'm ashamed to say, we do judge people on their accent, and that includes native English speakers. We judge each other, what class we have, that sort of thing. Also American English, we judge, sadly. And if there is a strong accent, I don't know, I think we're better. I think we're more multicultural now. But more now we try and work out where the person is from. But I don't like the fact that that can be a barrier when it can be so easily changed. When people learn how to speak English, they just need to communicate it, as we just said, it's just for communication. But if you want to build a closer relationship with people and get the flow better and to be, I don't know, people respond to you differently if you have a good accent. There is definitely a difference. If somebody if they can say the same words but with a strong accent or with a clearer accent, people will listen more to the clearer accent. And they will also, there's some study done on people that tell jokes. They've tried this. If somebody tells a joke with a strong accent or without a strong accent, the person with the strong accent won't get the laughs so much. Maybe because people are thinking, have they just told a joke or did they get the accent wrong? You know, I don't know what it is, but
Yeah.
it really does make a difference with the way that people respond to you, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, and then that's certainly true. And I've heard that like a rumor about English people judging other people through their accent, like according to their accent. And it's good to know that it's not it's not a rumor, it's actually a fact. But it is a sad thing. And I know that Finland, we're not so different. Our language is way worse than English is to learn, like properly, because we have sort of it's not actually that far from probably Polish, because we have consonants and double consonants. And usually foreign people who come to Finland and start learning Finnish, they don't get them right. They don't even understand them properly. I can't pronounce them. And that's funny for us. Like, we just like see it as funny. And but that's also one thing. Finnish is also thing you can learn to pronounce correctly. I have friends who came here from other countries as they were kids, and they learned to speak totally normal Finnish. So it's not a problem. It's about practice.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you very much for this opportunity to talk to you. And
Thank you.
it was nice to have you here. We will include all your contact details in the description part of this video, and we will put some social media things for you too. And I hope that we can continue this and form some kind of a cooperation for
Yes,
our artists who will be on our platform.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you very
hope so
much,
too.
and have a great week.
Yeah, and you. Okay. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.